What is going on, guys? This is your model, the IWC Gamers Goon here today with your Bound for Glory 2021 preview and predictions. Bound for Glory is going to be taking place live later tonight. I am filming this at 12:37 a.m., meaning in about 17 hours we're going to have this show or something like that, because it begins at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is the time that I will be watching. I'm not sure whether or not. I do know that we have a pre-show match. I'm not sure when that begins, but I will be watching Bound for Glory. It's gonna be interesting because I currently don't have a method to pay for Bound for Glory because I haven't bought it yet. And if you guys watched or even looked at my Twitter, my bank account somebody kind of got a hold of my card's information and started spending my money online. So I had to cancel that, and right now I do not have a means to purchase this show, but I do plan on at least borrowing somebody else's card for the time being, asking somebody. I'm probably gonna call my dad and see if he's willing to pay, and I'll Venmo him back later. But this card's something I'm very interested in. For these big shows, man, Impact usually puts it on. They usually do a decent job. They usually come out. They show out. Now, I'm not going to lie. Impact is something that is back and forth with me. I get into Impact come the big shows. After each of these big shows, I tell myself, yeah, I'm going to watch their product. But there's so much fucking wrestling going on each and every single week. We got AEW, we got WWE, we got their pay-per-views going on. And just those two brands alone, not even if we have something cool going on in New Japan or AAA, or I've even started watching some Stardom matches. Now if Kevin's watching this, he's going to comment something about Utami down below, or Siri, or Julia, or one of the many talented women over there, because he kind of helped me get on to Stardom a little bit, but it's too much wrestling, man. It's too much fucking wrestling. I didn't think I'd be saying that. Especially coming from where we were, where it was mainly just the WWE, and then kind of AEW kind of, at least for me, helped me realize how vast. Of course, I knew of AJ Styles before he ever got to WWE. I knew of Samoa Joe because I used to watch Impact regularly. And I've known of some of the guys, like I knew who Jay White was. I knew who the Kenny Omegas and the Young Bucks were. But I wasn't so familiar with some of the smaller guys. Like 4 or 5 years ago, if you asked me who Danhausen or Effie or any of these indie guys were, I wouldn't have been able to tell you. I'd have been like, who the fuck is Danhausen? Now I'm going to be potentially meeting Danhausen in February this next February, on February 20th, for a show that is going to be up in Portland. But that's not why you guys are here. You guys are here for Impact. So I haven't really been following the storylines necessarily, but I do have a general idea of what I believe things should do. Now, don't crucify me if I say something wrong. It's just a fun video. Every time I do something with... When I talk about Impact, Impact's one of those shows that I just enjoy. I enjoy the end product for the most part, for the most of the big shows. When I drop $40 or drop $50 on an Impact pay-per-view, at the end of the night, I feel like it was earned. Because I usually do something nice during it. Pre-show, we get John Skyler. And John Skyler doesn't even have a Wikipedia page, so I have no idea who the fuck he is. He might shock me, for all I know. But this is a tournament for the final intergender 6-way match for the inaugural Impact Digital Media Championship. Is that their version of the TV title, I guess? I don't know. We got Crazy Steve, we got Fall Ball, we got Jordan Grace, Chelsea Green, and Madison Rayne. Sorry. I have no idea who this John Skyler dude is. Maybe he's a potential dark horse. But Crazy Steve, in my opinion, I like the gimmick. I thought for a period of time he was going to end up in the WWE and end up being part of the Wyatt group. But that never ended up happening. And then I thought maybe we could see him paired with Matt Hardy in AEW. That never happened. And Crazy Steve is, I really don't know where he would fit in as a champion. So I doubt that it would be him. Fallah, bigger guy. I doubt he's going to be the champion. He very well could be. But he doesn't strike me as the people pop for him because of just the sheer size of him. When you look at Fallah, you're amazed at some of the things he can do. You're amazed that he's still in the ring. Just like when the Big Show's up in there, the bigger guys, you just want to root for him. But I don't see him as having that great of a character to, I guess, win the Impact Digital Media Championship. I don't necessarily know what that Digital Media Championship means, but I'm guessing it's a TV title. Jordynne Grace, somebody very charismatic, one of the top women they have in their division. Obviously, she was not going to be taking the title off Deonna Purrazzo anytime soon, in my opinion. Deonna Purrazzo, from what I've seen, and I've watched all of her pay-per-view matches. I've watched a few of her matches here and there, going through the months. Jordynne Grace, I don't see her taking Deonna Purrazzo out anytime soon. Or Mickie James. Mickie James could win, but Jordynne Grace, I think, could be a viable competitor. From what I understand, Chelsea Green is somewhat important on Impact. Believe that or not. 2 years ago, you told me I was going to be saying Chelsea Green was important. I liked her, but I didn't think she was going to be important. But from what I understand, she's pretty important on the women's division. So maybe she wins the Digital Media Championship. And then Madison Rayne, she's been there forever. I don't expect her to win it. She doesn't need it. So really, my 3 picks here. I don't know who John Skyler is. Let me Google and see if I can get a picture of this guy. Because this guy might be a complete jobber for all I know. John Skyler wrestler. Images. Okay. Okay, he looks decent enough. Could he be? I don't know his personality. Could he carry a championship? I don't know. But if I were to have to put money on it, I'm not putting my money on John Skyler. I'd put my money more so on Chelsea Green. I feel like it's just something that really fits her character, fits her gimmick. Jordynne Grace would be another option, but for some reason I feel like one of those two women are going to win it, rather than Fallah, Crazy Steve, or Skyler. I just don't. I just have a gut feeling that one of the women are going to win it on the pre-show. But let's get into the main show, the show that you all came to speak about. We get. Let's start with Heath and Violent by Design. Sorry if you can hear the laughing out there. Heath going up against Violent by Design, which is Eric Young and one of the two of Joe Doering and Diener. And Heath does not have a partner. Now, I don't know where Rhino is. I'm trying to figure out if Rhino potentially. I can't see whether or not Rhino is injured or anything like that, but it could be Rhino. It could be Rhino. Did they have a falling out? I don't know. I really don't know. Heath, I don't know who's going to team with them. And honestly, I don't feel like it matters. I'm going to go with Violent by Design. VBD, Eric Young, and one of the two. Whether it's Diener or whether it's Joe Doering, it doesn't really matter. Then we have the debut. We have a debut on hand, which is actually for the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championships. We get the pay-per-view debut of the Inspiration, formerly known as the Iconics, Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay, also known as Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, going up against Decay, Havoc, and Rosemary, which is for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. I'm going to be honest, the Knockouts Tag Team Championships are not something that I really ever thought was really all that special. just like the women's tag team championships in the WWE, there really just doesn't feel like any sort of build around anything. And that's not just with the women's division in WWE. Fucking regular tag team championships feel like shit too. But for this one, I imagine you're just going to give it to the Iconics. I don't see the Impact Knockouts Championships being really all that prestigious. You had Fire and Flava. They were holding the championships. Now, here Hogan's off doing her thing on AEW Dark matches. I doubt this is really a title that they really invest in. Then we get the tournament final three-way match for the vacant Impact X Division Championship. We got El Phantasmo, Steve Macklin, and Trey Miguel going up for it. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a big fan of Trey. You all know that Trey is one of the most talented wrestlers, I think, that's not signed to the big two in AEW and WWE. Trey Miguel is somebody that he could go make a bag anywhere. One of the most talented guys out there. I've wanted him to win the Impact Championship, and that didn't happen. I think we might as well put the Impact X Division Championship on him. I don't know anybody that doesn't like Trey Miguel, so I would go out there and I would give it to Trey Miguel in this situation. Just get out there, get a feel good moment, get Trey a championship. And then what do we get into? We're going to get into the three-way tag team match for the Impact World Tag Team Championships. We got the Good Brothers, Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson, going up against Finn Juice, David Finlay, and Juice Robinson, going up against the Bullet Club, Chris Bay, and Collier. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't see the Good Brothers losing it. Finn Juice might shock us. They might shock the world. But I'm just not feeling it. I think the Good Brothers are going to win. I'm pretty confident saying the Good Brothers are going to win. Then we got a match that I'm kind of interested in. We got the Collier Shot Gauntlet match. The winner will receive a trophy and a contract that they can invoke at any time within 1 year for a championship match of their choosing, kind of like a Money in the Bank, except I think you got to cash it in before. I don't think you can just run down in the ring and say, oh, I want to fight you now. I don't think that's how it works. But so far in this match, Rich Swann, Brian Myers, Moose, W. Morrissey, and Chris Sabin are the announced competitors. There will be 15 people that are not announced, more than likely going up against the winner of Christian Cage and Josh Alexander, potentially at the next pay-per-view. I really don't know who could win this, I'm going to be honest. Sami Callihan probably gonna. I could see Sami Callihan potentially getting in there and going up. I could see. Who else could I see? I don't really know who else you could potentially be bringing. We know last time they had Jay White come to the pay-per-view. Could we potentially see somebody like that caliber coming out there potentially? Could we see an AEW guy? Could we see somebody, not necessarily one of the top guys, but could we see I don't know, give us a Joey Janela? Maybe he joins the match. I don't fucking know. But there is 15 available spots. I'm not going to predict who's going to win out of people that aren't that named. I'm just going to go off on a limb and say that the names listed, we already have the winner, and it's Rich Swann. But it should be interesting. I'm interested to see who some of those other competitors are, but that will come later. Then we got Deonna Purrazzo going up against Mickie James, defending her Impact Knockouts Championship. And Matthew Rowalt will be banned from ringside. Listen. There's only one person in Impact that has the claim of being the best in their division, not only in just Impact, but in the world at this point in time, if you ask me, and Deonna Purrazzo is the best women's wrestler right now in the world, if you ask me. Their Impact's women's division itself is stacked. It's stacked. And then the head of it all is Deonna Purrazzo. It's not a Charlotte Flair. I'm a big fan of Becky, but it's not a Becky Lynch. I love Sasha, but it's not Sasha. It's not Bayley. She's out right now. Bayley last year probably could have made a claim for it. But Deonna Purrazzo has been number one, at least to me, for the last year and a half. She has done a phenomenal job in Impact, reinventing herself after she got released, after being in the WWE, after being in NXT, and not really being anything. She has transformed into being the thing on Impact. One of the main draws on Impact, at least for me to come back and watch, because I really enjoy her in-ring abilities and her work that she goes about. And then you bring on Mickie James, also another living legend, somebody that is highly respected within the business, somebody that can put on a damn good match even at her age right now. Obviously, her peak was probably in the 2008, 2012 era, but she still looks great in the ring. She still brings it every single time. She's still one of the most respected in-ring performers that is in the women's division within any company. Within any company. You put her in any company. She's one of the most respected women's wrestlers in the world. And this should be a good match. This should be a good match. I fully expect Deonna Purrazzo to retain. I could see a scenario where Mickie James wins. But I really think that scenario only happens if Impact's really just going for that shock value. That is going to get a nice reaction from the crowd. That's the only way I see it happening. I'd have Deonna retain. Deonna has been number one, in my opinion, for the women's wrestlers in 2021 so far. And then we get into the main event of the evening. We got the Impact World Champion and current AEW superstar Christian Cage going up against a former tag team mate of a AEW superstar Ethan Page, Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander, obviously, he is the one that was in the North with the headgear. Josh Alexander himself is a very talented in-ring performer. Christian Cage, we all know how great he is. He's killed it with Kenny Omega. He's done great things throughout his entire career. This should be a phenomenal match. This is Alexander's Option C World Championship match from winning the X Division Championship. If you don't know what Option C is, it is something that I believe Eric Young invented. Let me look up. Let me look up who invented it. No, Austin Aries invented it. Austin Aries invented it and beat Bobby Roode for the NWA World Championship. But you basically, you get a decision, and your decision is you can either retain your current X Division Championship, or going into the show, you can challenge the main champ, the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, the Impact World Heavyweight Champion. You can challenge them for their championship, but you have to relinquish your X Division Championship, which is how we get into the situation with a vacant X Division Championship, such as the one that Trey Miguel is going to be fighting for earlier on in the night. But Josh Alexander, he's taking his shot in the dark. He's hoping that he gets a Impact World Championship, and I think he does. There's really no reason why Christian Cage needs to retain. Obviously, Christian Cage is good. He can elevate the talent in Impact. But there's no need for him to be a champion. There's no need for it. The only reason why I believe he was even given the championship is because you're not going to have your Kenny Omega go on to Impact and lose to somebody that's can't even get the AEW rub off. You weren't going to have Kenny Omega lose to Josh Alexander and make Impact look superior to AEW. You just weren't going to do that. But Kenny Omega, he's already beat He's already beat Christian Cage a second time. So we all know. There's no questions asked. He's the superior champion. He's the superior champion, the AEW Championship superior. So there's really no reason to protect an AEW superstar anymore on Impact. And that is why I believe Josh Alexander will be walking out of Impact bound for glory as your new Impact World Champion. So we got some big things potentially happening on the show. We could potentially be seeing Josh Alexander walk out as the world champion. We have 15 competitors that are not announced for the Collier Shot Gauntlet match. We will be crowning a new Impact X Division Championship. We will be seeing the in-ring debut, or at least pay-per-view debut, of The Inspiration, Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay. We get a surprise of who is going to be teaming with Heath, and just that alone should be enough to at least gauge your interest in Bound for Glory. I'm definitely going to be watching. I'm going to be interested in it. If it turns out to be a bad show, oh well. At least I'll get a review out of it. But today is, since it's already 1 a.m., is a big day. It is a huge day. I'm glad that this pay-per-view starts at 7 p.m. Pacific. You guys are probably a little bit salty if you're on the East Coast, because I don't know why you'd want to watch a 10 o'clock pay-per-view. But at 9 a.m., I got the Illinois Penn State football game. And then at noon, at 12:30, I got the Oregon UCLA football game. So that gets me about to 3 o'clock. And then at 5, I got the Chicago Bulls basketball game. So that gets me to 7 o'clock. And then at 7 o'clock, I get to sit down and I get to watch Bound for Glory. And I probably will be just on my iPad for the Bulls game, watching the ending of it, while I got the pre-show for Bound for Glory turned on. But I'm very interested to see where Bound for Glory takes us tonight. Impact has done a solid job at gaining interest through their pay-per-views. They've done a solid enough job to make me want to keep coming back for these big shows. And I'm not gonna lie, they've done a great job. If I wasn't so burnt out, if I wasn't watching WWE and AEW, well, not watching Raw, not watching Dynamite, Rampage, and SmackDown in a week, because I don't even mess with NXT anymore. I can't do it. There's too much fucking wrestling right now. There's too much, which isn't a bad thing. It's just too much for me to handle. If maybe if we took away Rampage and we took away, we did a unification of rosters, and the A show was Monday Night Raw, maybe I could fit that third show in Impact. But right now, I can't fit in a weekly Impact show into my already busy week, because I'm already taking classes and shit. So it's already hard to keep up with everything, because I'm watching it on reruns, and then I got the Bears games going on, I got the Bulls games going on, I got Illinois football games, Oregon football games. There's so much fucking going on. There's so much going on. So, but I do make time for these big pay-per-views. I will make time. I always make time for the big pay-per-views, whether it's AEW, WWE, or Impact. I will be tuned in and I will be watching, because I know that more than likely, like with Impact and AEW, I'm gonna get a good show. With WWE, for some reason, I'm still interested, but more than likely, the show's gonna disappoint. And if not, at least it's good content. But Crown Jewel was a success, if you ask me. It was a success. But anyways, I'm gonna get on out of here. Thank y'all for watching. Your role model of the IWC Gamers Goon. I will see you guys later tonight for the Bound for Glory review. Hopefully it's a good show. Because I'm gonna have to jump through hurdles to figure out how to buy this show. Hopefully I'm able to set a deal together where I'm able to get the show. Well, I'm gonna have to get a deal together, because there ain't no other fucking way. But we'll see. I'm definitely gonna be watching the show. Whether or not I have to overpay for the show is a different story. But I'm getting out of here. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. And make sure you come back later tonight, because we're gonna have some fun on the Bound for Glory review.